Have you ever experienced a night where you just couldn't seem to fall asleep, no matter how hard you tried? You try your best to shut off your brain at night and get good sleep, but nothing seems to work. You toss, turn, you're too hot or too cold, and at times you find yourself counting sheep, staring at your ceiling, or checking the clock on your phone every few minutes. If this sounds all painfully too familiar, then you could be experiencing something called insomnia. This was something that a woman named Sassy Smith knew all too well. She initially started noticing the symptoms and signs of insomnia in the summer of 2017. And over the course of a 6-month period, she noticed how she went from getting a solid 8 hours of sleep to barely 3 at best on a good night. This ultimately left her feeling completely defeated because she had lost control of something as simple as sleep. She thought that over time, these bad sleeping habits would fade, but they didn't. And in her mind, she thought that she wasn't sleeping very well because she wasn't tired enough in the first place. So she would force herself to do high-intensity workouts before bed and attempt to make her mind and body so exhausted that she had no other option to sleep through the night, but it never really worked. Insomnia began to consume her and her life by her thoughts, activities, but more than anything, it severely changed her mood. She had become so frustrated and annoyed with the fact that she couldn't sleep that she took it out and snapped on people in her life. However, she started making simple lifestyle changes, and over time, she took back control of her sleeping schedule. This specific disorder affects millions of people, which is why I'm here to talk about the effects that sleep insomnia can have on your body, mental health, and concentration as a result of this disorder. But you may ask, what even is insomnia? Technically, it's defined as having a consistent problem with falling asleep in the first place, how long you can stay asleep, or the overall quality of your sleep. But not only does insomnia take over your everyday activities, but it can have a negative control on your body by first affecting your memory. When your body doesn't get enough sleep, your brain can't form the connection that it needs to help you process and retain new information you hear, so things become difficult to remember over time. The deprivation of sleep also increases your risk for low immunity, which means you get sick a lot more than you should. You can get diabetes and high blood pressure, which ultimately are all bad for your health. This all stems from your body not getting enough sleep at night, and is based on the simple fact that your body cannot physically maintain itself at the level it needs to when you're constantly running on empty. Another thing you may start to notice or experience with insomnia is weight gain. And this is because your brain, the chemicals in your brain that tell you to stop eating when you're full are completely off balance. So you could be eating dinner and feel hungry after eating, so you keep getting more and more because your brain physically can't tell you to stop eating. So you start to notice weight gain. However, when someone starts to begin to experience insomnia, they're likely to struggle with their mental health as well. It can affect their mood or even increase the likelihood of getting depression, bipolar disorder, different anxiety disorders, or ADHD. This occurs because many feel as if their life has been completely turned upside down and that they had lost control over something they once took for granted. And they begin to focus on the negatives more than they ever once did. They become frustrated, annoyed, and mad from their lack of sleep that they have no control over. Their whole demeanor completely changes because they are physically and emotionally drained from insomnia. This lack of sleep can also begin to affect your concentration. Multiple studies have even linked poor sleep to the development of dementia and Alzheimer's. When you don't get enough sleep, it becomes much more difficult to stay alert throughout the day and truly process what you hear and see. In general, it takes you longer to comprehend things, so learning becomes difficult, retaining new things, or even just understanding a simple subject can become hard. Lastly, it also impairs your judgment and reasoning. When your brain and body is tired from lack of sleep, it becomes harder to make smart decisions and think rationally. It can potentially lead you to making dangerous decisions. For example, if you're completely exhausted while driving at night, you may run a red light without even realizing that the light was red. And there, it can put you and the other driver at dangerous situations. However, the good news is that there are some lifestyle and home remedies that you can try. When you begin to struggle with insomnia, you don't immediately have to run to the doctor for medicine. There are free and simple changes you can resort to beforehand, such as sticking to a daily schedule filled with routines that you plan the day, night, or week before. You can exercise more to keep your mind and body healthy, because it is proven that exercising can reduce stress and promote happiness, which can ultimately help you sleep at night. And you can try your best to cut out and completely limit naps, caffeine, and alcohol to promote better sleep at night. And lastly, you can make your place, like your room, a better environment to sleep by setting the temperature to a good temperature for you so you sleep throughout the night. In conclusion, sleep insomnia can have many negative effects on your mind and body, but it's important to take control of your daily habits or seek help from a doctor early on if you're experiencing this. And it isn't an overnight change. Fixing your sleeping schedule takes time and patience.